Unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica from the scrapbooks of Adrian Freighter. On the morning of Sunday, September 5, 2004, I walked into the stadium at Evander Childs High School in New York, where an annual football tournament was being played. As I walked by the first row of stands, I saw reggae boy defender Doran Tatty Brown. He stood motionless with tears flowing down his face. I immediately asked him what was happening, to which he replied, "You know you were going on the yard last night?" I said, "No." Twinny and Scava them dead. Them crasher come from Matcha Stadium. 5 of them dead. Bugu from Seba, Rasta Marlo, and Sagled with the round kickers. The news hit me like a ton of bricks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was difficult to fathom it. These are people who I knew very well in football circles, and all of them were gone in one crash. Unlike the first day of the tournament, when the mood was totally festive, a cloud of sadness hung over the stadium as the Jamaicans there were pretty much in a state of mourning. Winston Twinny Bug Anglin was an icon of both Wadada, St. James and Jamaica's football. Oniel Scava Eccleston was a legend of Herbert Morrison and Wadada's football. Bugguruggu Findlayson was a stalwart defender with Seba United. Marlon Ras Marlo Dexter was a football fan extraordinary and was everybody's friend. And Keith Saddlehead Gentles was a businessman who operated his own pharmacy and was an inspiration to many young people in Montego Bay who came from humble beginnings to achieve much in life. While I was not in Jamaica to write a first-hand account of the accident, I did get back into the island on time to attend the funeral service of Winston Anglin. In this edition of Lest You Forget, I will recount that accident from bits and pieces of a story that was written by my friends Vivian Tyson and Carl Gilchrist. The story read in parts as follows. The St. Ann police said the accident occurred at about 12:30 a.m. when a Nissan Maxima motorcar registered 1351 BU, which was being driven by Eccleston, got out of control and ran off the unlit Queens Highway before flipping onto one of a number of boulders. The impact crushed the car, immediately killing the occupants except for Anglin, who was flung from the vehicle. He was rushed to the St. Anne's Bay Hospital, where he died. News of the accident sent shockwave across the island, particularly within the football fraternity. It's really sad. I hardly can find words to describe what has happened, said JFF President Cranston Boxill. Boxill said that he and Anglin always had a good player-manager relationship from the time Boxill managed the national team. As recently as Friday evening, we spoke when he called me to ask for tickets to the game, Boxill said. When I heard about it this morning, I was brought to tears. It just brought back the whole Shorty Malcolm incident all over again. It should be interesting to note that Anglin, Findlayson, Eccleston and Dexter were all members of the Hanover Masters Football Club, the current champion of the Western Masters League. Former league coordinator of the St. James Football Association, Lily Mae Crawford, who was on her way from the match in Kingston, was the person who identified the victims of the accident to the police who had turned up at the scene. A man stopped me while I was driving along the roadway and told me that a car that looked to be coming from the match had overturned, Crawford said. When I pulled over, I saw Twinny Bug on the ground and the other 4 men in the car with the top of the car crushed down to the bottom. Former national striker Paul Teagat Davis, who along with Anglin were the goal scorers in Jamaica's historic 1991 Shell Caribbean Cup victory over Trinidad and Tobago, could well have been in that vehicle had there been enough space to accommodate him and his son. I gave away the tickets after everybody I asked to take me and my son to the game told me they could only carry me alone, Davis said. My son never saw the national team play, so I wanted to give him the opportunity. While Montego Bay paid due respect to all 5 fallen soldiers, the ultimate tribute was that all five were buried side by side in the same funeral plot at Dovecot of St. James Memorial Park. In looking back at that accident, which had all Jamaica mourning, it is definitely one of those unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica. Unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica from the scrapbooks of Adrian Freighter. Before you go, please remember to subscribe.